I was eating chocolate in my bed and it dropped a bit and it kind of melted in and it looks like I shat myself in my sleep. I didn't shit myself! Howdy, my name is Stee and welcome to something new. I've decided that since I perpetually talk absolute utter shite, that I would share some of it with you guys. And one way that I'm going to do it is with something that, for now, I'm calling Stee's Queer Quandaries. Because they're really, really weird questions that you would not expect anybody to ask anybody else. But it's kind of what I do. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is I ask people an awful lot of weird questions every now and then. I'm going to ask you guys these questions also, so I can get like a wider demographic of people to see it and also to answer the question, because it'll be very interesting to see how other people respond to these questions. So today's Queer Quandary is something that I've asked an awful lot of people, ranging from taxi drivers to shopkeepers to my nana. Oh, and also I've rang into several radio stations and also asked this exact same question. And I'm starting off with this question because I have the answer to the question, so I'd like to just see what your take on it is. And that question is, who would win in a fight between an apple and an orange? Now, when I say who would win in a fight between an apple and an orange, I mean if they were sentient and they had like battle tactics going on in their head, who would win between an apple and an orange? So about 2 years ago, I posed this question to myself one day, sitting out in the backyard in the shade. And originally I was like, oh, it's got to be apples because apples are tastier and I prefer apples. But then I got bored and I actually thought about it a lot. So, let us begin. Now, if you physically got an orange and an apple, which I have done several times, and just hit them together repeatedly and repeatedly, eventually, yes, the apple would win, because it would eventually mush the orange from the inside out. But these guys are sentient, they have battle tactics, they know what's going on. So when you think about it like that, the apple has no chance whatsoever. So let's just run through a little bit of a comparison of weapons or whatever. An apple, because I'm now biased towards the orange because I've thought this all through and I know that the orange will win no matter what. I'm kind of more biased towards the orange, so the apple gets very little time. But also, it's got very few actual weapons to use against the orange. Think about it, right? Apple first. Its skin is really, really thin and really soft and pointless. It doesn't have any real projectiles bar the pips, but everybody knows that the pips on an apple are really, really, you can break them with your fingers. Okay, I'm just going to say this right now to just appease a lot of people out there. If several apples gathered around a single orange and just jumped on him for hours and hours, he would eventually die, yes. But this is a one-on-one brawl between one apple and one orange. Now on to the orange. The orange's skin is really thick and tough. If the apples start to get through the skin, the orange, okay, this is all if the orange was sentient and knew what it was doing, so it's gonna get weird. So the orange removes its skin, and inside the orange there's what? About 8 sections, the sections of an orange. So then it's 8 against 1. Then, if you peel open those segments, there is thousands of these little teeny tiny things. They can all just like pile on the apple and just destroy it. And also citric acid is a lot more powerful, so it can dissolve the apple. So if all these little teeny tiny things, all containing citric acid, just hopped on the apple and just went, apple's gone. Okay, quick little recap now to finish everything off. The apple has a really thin skin. Its pips inside it can be easily smushed, is the best way of putting it. The folic acid inside the apple is not as strong as citric acid, so in a way everything's piling up against the apple. Now the orange, on the other hand, has a thick skin, different segments, meaning it can outnumber the apple. The acid is stronger inside it, so I'm going to put my own personal vote towards the orange. Okay, that's the end of that. Thank you very much for joining me. on this, the inaugural episode of Queer Quandaries. If you have any questions you'd like to put to me, please feel free to leave in the comment section below. Join me again next time when I talk about the moral quandary that is urinating in the shower. My name has been Stee. I'll see you next time. Bye now. If you guys have any other questions that you'd like to put to me, feel free to leave it in the... Okay, that's the end of the first ever inaugural episode of Fuck Fuckity Fuck Fuck Fuck.